Nintendo GameCube had some of the best games of its era, including titles such as Super Smash Bros. Melee, Mario Kart Double Dash, Super Mario Sunshine, and plenty more. When I think about my favorite local multiplayer games from the GameCube era, one of the first that comes to mind is Kirby Air Ride. While this was one of my favorite games to play with friends, I know that not a lot of people had the opportunity to play it. So I wanted to take some time today to talk about what the game is and show you the various game modes you can play. So when you boot up this game, you're going to have the option to choose between one of 3 game modes. The first of which is Air Ride. It's a classic back-viewing racing style game. Typically, it's the first to reach the end of either 3 laps or a time trial run, but it's essentially a race against either friends or CPUs. Think of it very similar to Mario Kart. Obviously, with this, it's Kirby, so instead of getting power-up boxes like you'd see in Mario Kart, you can absorb enemies along the way and get their power. The next up is Top Ride. This one wasn't necessarily my favorite, but it's pretty cool. Similarly to Air Ride, it's a racing game, but instead it's a top view, so you've got a fixed camera looking down and everybody's kind of racing around a map. Controls are much different because it's not camera behind you, it's specifically above everybody. Essentially, same rules apply though. You're racing against other players or CPUs, and it's typically the first to get to the end wins. And then there is my favorite, which is the City Trial. This allows the players to explore an open city and collect power-ups during a set amount of time. And then after that timer, the players are pitted up against each other in either a race or an event of some sort. But the whole idea is to spend that time gathering as many power-ups as you can before that race, at what point you guys will duke it out and find out who's the best. In addition to the 3 game modes in Kirby Air Ride, there's also a checklist for each of these. If you guys ever played Super Smash Bros. Melee, you're probably familiar with something along the lines of this. It's essentially a checkbox that gives you challenges that you can complete in the 3 various game modes. This one is the City Trials checklist. You've got the Air Ride checklist, and then finally the Top Ride checklist. So again, each game mode has its own series of things for you to accomplish. So I just started a new file, and I've got 2 boxes checked off in the City Trial, and you can see what they are if you hover over them. And then the boxes that are touching them are visible, but they're not unlocked, so I can see what's required to unlock those. Ideally, you want to unlock this entire chart to maximize completion. This grayed out box says in the stadium, Drag Race 1, it needs me to finish in less than 20 seconds. So I basically have to keep playing City Trial until I get Drag Race 1 and manage to beat it in less than 20 seconds. The cool thing is we have game settings, so we can come in here and change things like how long we want the City Trial to be. Default's at 5 minutes. The tempo for the game, I've never played on slow, but it looks like you could use it if you're trying to practice the game. And then, of course, the stadium. This is going to be the event that takes place after the timer. I like to keep it on shuffle because it keeps you guessing. You never know what you're going to get. But it is cool if you really wanted to knock out some of the specific challenges, or if you just wanted to go for a specific race. Maybe you want to play the drag race and you just like the drag races. Maybe you like the target flight. Maybe you want Destruction Derby. My point being, you have the option to choose. And then lastly, events. I would always leave these on. I think it's awesome to have these. They're going to be periodic things that pop up during your timer on City Trial. One of them, a good example, is just meteorites coming down and hitting different parts of the map. But you get the idea. We've got some things in our control. For right now, I'm going to leave things at the default setting. I'm going to play through City Trial so you can see what it's like, and then we'll see what challenge I get. City Trial. Race around the city and power up your machine. The first machine you'll use is the Compact Star. Head for any boxes you can find. Bust them open with a quick spin or a boost. Items pop out. Power up your machine. Gray items power you down. Don't touch these. However, I would argue some gray items are good. Like weight down could be beneficial if you're trying to go for flight distance, you know? Of course, you can get off of your star if you want to grab another star. All the Kirbys can run around. And of course, we've got major events taking place in the city. Use them to your advantage. You can attack your rivals to steal their items. And of course, time is limited. And there's an example of, stats at the end. Let's dive in. All right, this brings us to the player entry screen. I'm gonna pick player 1, and I would invite friends if I had any. We're gonna play against CPUs for the time being. I'm gonna give them a little bit of spice and move them up to 5 out of 9. Oh, and lastly, you can unlock different colors of Kirby. There's more than just the standard 4, but again, starting a new file, so all I got are the 4. Let's do this. All right, so as I mentioned, City Trial is basically me wandering around for 5 minutes playing against either players or CPU and trying to collect as many of these power-ups as possible. What's cool is that this is a pretty big map. It's cut up into different sections. Got a giant volcano. There's a couple of different bodies of water, basically a bigger ocean that surrounds the whole map. There's a castle. There's thing in the middle of the sky. And yeah, essentially the goal is to see if I can collect as many power-ups before the timer is over. This one right here is one of my favorites. It is Glide. So if we happen to get a challenge that requires us, maybe the flight challenge, I think there's a couple of different flight ones, like flight distance and then flight height, meaning like how high can you go in the sky. Suffice to say, flight is used for quite a bit. Another one of my top favorites is this bad boy, top speed. You always want top speed, right? There are a few different gliders that are my favorite, some of which not so much. I'm going to keep my eye out for them and collect them as I go. Again, this is the starting star, so I'm going to roll with it until I find my replacement star. This is a lot of fun when you have 3 other friends playing in like a local co-op. If you can imagine, get 4 of you on one screen. Become chaos. Yeah, the map is, it's honestly pretty big, and having even a total of 4 of you on screen, you guys can be in separate parts of the map at all times. Like, I might not even run into the CPUs during this 5 minutes. Depends on they come across my path or not. All right, a mysterious flying machine is approaching. So this is the first event that I'm seeing. I think we'll probably see like maybe 2 events in this 5-minute timer. Oh, it's a giant UFO. I forgot this was one of the events. I haven't played in a very long time. I booted the game up recently before I started filming, but other than that, haven't played a whole lot. That is a big unidentified flying object, and I want to get on top of it, so I need to go up. I could also use a better star. I'm still on starting star here. Oh, I got like no flight capabilities. Just too shy. All right, I'll look around to see if there's any other options as far as stars that'll fly better than the beginning star. I don't think I'm catching that UFO by the time it's gone, though. Suffice to say, you can get on top of the UFO, and I believe there's just a ton of power-up items up there. If I'm not mistaken, there's one in the center of the UFO, like on top of it, that is like it's a plus all, so it gives you a boost to every power up. So whereas like the wings just give me glide, the power up for all of them gives me 1 point for each stat. Alright, I have about 1.5 minutes of collecting left, and then we're gonna fight these NPCs who really haven't been giving me too much of a hard time. I'm gonna go ahead and take this for now. Oh, took my stuff away from me. So that's the thing, when you switch stars, you might lose some of your stats. This is not really one of my favorite stars, so I'm going to keep looking until I find something that is a favorite of mine. This one's really good if you want to like just charge for one big boost, and then it kind of carries that boost and then dies out. So I'm not a big fan of it because I like acceleration. This does not have acceleration. It has a lot of top speed, which is great if we're in a drag race. Yeah, that little fart. I got 30 seconds to find a better car. Or I'm sorry, star. These are not cars. They glide. Although I guess there are cars in this game. There are the wheel-based stars. "10 seconds. Get that top speed. Get that top speed. Before he gets it. Oh, no. Time's up. Oh, I'm not a big fan of the boosting star, but hey, that jingle, I think that means I've unlocked something. All right, so looking at our stats, this is a cool little breakdown. Just take a moment to see what the results are. So we've got boost, top speed, turn, charge, glide, weight, offense, defense, and HP. They're all pretty self-explanatory. Boost is really just when you charge up, how much are you gonna boost when you let go? The charge is how fast does that charge go, or like how long does it take for you to get there? So more charge means you're getting to the max charge quickly. Obviously with glide, it's going to give you more flight. With weight, so again, I speculate on this one. I would argue that less weight is good if you're trying to like fly farther, but I don't know, maybe weight's probably good for like not getting knocked over when someone runs into you, you know? Offense, defense, very straightforward. HP, how much health do you have? So yeah, those are the stats. It's a lot of fun to see what your stats are by the time the timer runs out. And you'll notice the other three have different vehicles. I would argue those two at the bottom are kind of menacing. Those are some of the bigger ground vehicles. The one at the top right is like a bubble vehicle. It's very like slip slidey. And then mine's just like a drag race. So we're going to find out. Fingers crossed I'm about to get a drag race. Air glider. Jump as far as you can from the platform. So this would be fantastic if I had a star that was more glider friendly. My star is not going to go very far as gliding. I do have some glide upgrades, but no. I'm probably going to do better than those other two. I'm just not sure if I'm going to do better than Soap Boy. Ooh, that was really, really bad. Oh, maybe not as bad as I was thinking. We're still going, you know? I'm boosting. Okay, there we go. We're losing. Oh, you son of a bitch. You son of a bitch. Am I just like... I need somebody to tell me. Did I get that? I got first. It's just the hair. All right, that's enough for today's video. You get the idea. There are 3 game modes in Kirby Air Ride. This game is awesome to play with friends. I really hope to see maybe one day that we get an HD port to Switch. Please, Nintendo, make it happen. This is a great game to play with friends. Even if we had like an online multiplayer, that'd be amazing. If not a port, I'd love a full-on remake like we're seeing with Super Mario RPG, like ground up, give it a complete do-over. I would love that. I'm all for that. I mean, I'll take a port, but if we want to remake it from ground up, sign me up. And then I guess the last thing that they could do is just give us a direct sequel. Kirby Air Ride 2. Just make it for the Switch. Just make it everything this game was and more. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe if you're new here and you want to see some more content. And let me know, did you guys ever get to play Kirby Air Ride? Was this one of your favorite games? Maybe you didn't get to play this game and you'd like to see it come to Switch, or you just like to play it on your own. I'm debating streaming this on Twitch and maybe just playing through the campaign on Air Ride, since I can't really play this with friends through City Trial at this point. Let me know if that's something you'd be interested in seeing. With that, I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you for making it this far into the video, and until next time, my friends, adios.